Today, I'm going to go over what are investing apps and are they worth it? But before we get into that, I've created a free resource on how you can have a better relationship with money in just 5 days. It's full of actionable tips and it's really going to help you if you apply the lessons that I teach in there. So it's going to be the first link in the descriptions down below. So go sign up, do yourself a favor. You will not regret it. Okay, now let's get on to are investing apps worth it? And let's see where I can put myself. Okay, we're ready to get started. And the main ones we're going to be going over today are Acorns, Stash, and Clink. So investing apps, just the very basics. What are they and what do they do? Acorns rounds up your spare change and it actually invests the extra spare change that you have. So let's say you spend $1.75 on a coffee. That would be the normal price. What Acorn does is they actually round up to $2 and they take that extra 25 cents, put it in your Acorns account, and then they invest it. So that's pretty much how Acorns work. The next one is Stash, and that lets you invest as little as $5 per time that you want to make an investment in the stock market. And then the third one we're going to go over is Clink. Now, Clink lets you save a percentage of what you spend dining out into your Clink account. So let's say you spend $10 eating out at In-N-Out. What Clink's going to do is they're going to recognize that that's an eating out expense. They're going to take, and let's say you set up your account so 10% of what you spend eating out, you want to go to your Clink account. So it sees that you spent $10, it'll take 10% of that, which is $1, and it'll put it in your Clink account. And that's going to add up over time, and then that money, that percentage that you spent eating out will be invested into your Clink account. Okay, so that's just really the general overview and the basics of these apps. What are the pros to them? There's a few of them. First of all, it's fantastic for beginning investors. The minimum amount to invest is only $5. So those big hurdles that used to exist where you needed $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000 to open up a brokerage account, that's gone, and you can do it. You can open up that account with as little as $5. The second thing that is really good about them is that they're super simple to use and they're very quick to use. So you can just open one of these accounts on your phone really quickly. So it's really attractive to those younger, more tech-savvy investors. Or people, I shouldn't say investors, younger tech-savvy people. And then there are low fees for small accounts. So again, you have that small minimum investment and then you have a low monthly fee usually to keep the account open. So those are the really good things about it. What are the bad things about these investing apps? The first, I got to move myself here. The first is that there's limited account type options. So what you want is you want to have the option to create a different type of account depending on what your life situation is. So maybe you want to open up a joint account with your spouse or a partner. Maybe you want to have an individual account for yourself that you can take money and put money into whenever you want. There's all sorts of retirement accounts that you can open. And then if you're a small business owner, you also have an array of accounts that you could also open as part of your company's plan. The problem with these apps is they don't always offer all of these different account types. So, and it's really not good that they don't have all of those account types all the time. The second thing is that there's limited investment options. So these investing app companies are going to pick the investments that they allow you to choose, which really limits what you're able to do. But that's not the biggest issue. There's two more much bigger issues with these apps. The first big issue that I see is that you are the investment manager for all of these accounts. Now, the problem with that is, and I'm sure you're very smart. You wouldn't be watching this video if you weren't smart, but you're probably not trained to select investments for your entire financial future. And so what a lot of people do on these apps is they just pick and choose what sounds good. But what sounds good isn't always what's the best investment strategy. And so these apps place too much of an onus on you, the consumer, to make these really big, really important financial decisions that frankly, you don't have the skills or the expertise and you haven't spent the time learning it. If you spent the time learning it, you can absolutely manage this. But just being frank, you probably haven't spent the time learning this. So I just don't think, I think that's too much of a hurdle for consumers to take, making themselves their own investment manager. And then the second big issue that I have with these apps is that there's absolutely no guidance on terms of what you should be doing. What exactly are you saving for? What are you investing for? These apps aren't going to help you figure that out. Are you saving enough to hit your goal? These apps are not going to help you figure that out. And then, should investing even be your first priority? And I mean, should you even be putting extra money into Acorns or Stash or Clink? Or instead, should you be paying off debt, especially high interest debt like a credit card that might have 15 to 20% interest? Should you potentially be building an emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of living expenses so that you are prepared in case you have some kind of medical emergency or you lose your job? These apps do not help you, give you any kind of guidance on that at all. That's a huge red flag for me. So my take, I gotta move myself again. My take is that these apps are not worth it. And I don't think you should spend your time, frankly, signing up for them. Here's what I would encourage you to do instead, though. I'm going to keep on moving down until I get out of my own way. Step one is the first thing that you need to do is you need to figure out a plan. It can be basic. It doesn't have to be long. It can be one single page. And actually, that's actually what I help my clients do, create a plan on one single page. And that plan needs to address, though, what are you trying to achieve? Is it to save for retirement? Is it to buy a home in 5 years? Or maybe buy a new car? So the first thing you need is a plan on what your goals are. And then once you have an outline of what you're trying to achieve, the second step is you have to figure out exactly what you need to do, what you need to save and invest in order to hit that very first, most important financial goal. So you figure out what your goals are, then you figure out what do I need to do to hit that goal, especially the first goal. And my guess is that you're going to need to save and invest more than just spare change in order to hit those goals. There's an old saying that says, don't step over dollars to chase pennies. In other words, we should be going after the bigger bucks and not worrying about the 25 extra cents that we could have saved on coffee, or that 25 cents that would have been rounded up on coffee. I tell my clients, I tell my clients to be saving or investing or paying off debt at 20% of their after-tax income, not to be saving 25 cents every single time they buy a cup of coffee. So let's, for instance, say I work with someone and they make $125,000 a year and they pay a 20% tax rate. Hopefully my math adds up. And their after-tax income is $100,000. So I would tell that client that they need to be saving, investing, or paying off debt at least $20,000 of that $100,000 after-tax income. And I tell all of my clients that at no matter what their income range is, they have to be saving 20% of their after-tax income. And I don't tell them to worry about the 25 cents extra on a cup of coffee, because that's chasing pennies and skipping over dollars. Now, let's just show you what this could look like in terms of saving spare change versus saving whole dollars. And so you see it up here. Let's say you can get spare change of $100 a month. And let's say you have 30 years to invest and you earn 8% a year. As you see on the left here, this is our spare change. Your future balance of saving spare change of $100 a month in 30 years is going to be $151,000, which is a nice chunk of change, but honestly, that's kind of all it's going to be in 30 years, a big chunk of change. What we want to be focusing on is much bigger numbers. So let's say you can save whole dollars. Let's say you can save $500 a month, which is much more in line with what I tell people to do. In 30 years, assuming, again, that 8% interest rate, your future balance is going to be $751,000. So it's just going to be head and shoulders above this spare change investing idea. And so that's where I think you should focus your time on. How do you create more ability to save those whole dollars so that you can save $500, $750, $1,000 a month, so that in 30 years, you're going to have a big pot of money to help support you and give you the ability to quit your job and never have to worry about money again. Now, are you confused on where to get started? You have to get help. The biggest mistake you can make is avoiding the biggest thing you can do for yourself is to avoid financial procrastination. We are all prone to procrastinate. We all push off things that we know we are supposed to do. But if you can just get started, you will be doing yourself a huge favor, and you have to get started today. Get started on making good financial decisions today. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Just focus on what you can do today and in the future to better your situation. Now, a certified financial planner can help you set goals like those financial goals that we talked about, and they can also help you stay accountable so that you can hit your goals. I am, full disclosure, a certified financial planner. You don't have to work with me. There's plenty of other certified financial planners out there. The main point is for you to find someone that can help you figure out what your goals are, as well as keep you accountable to hitting your goals. So there we have it. Are investing apps worth it? I do not think so. I think you should be focusing on saving bigger amounts of money and not worrying about the spare change that those apps can save you. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye.